What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Memphis spread playbook in college football 25. This is the Ryan Silverfield offense. He's been at Memphis for a long time, head coach there for 4 years, but held different positions before that. He was under Mike Norvell when they had a lot of success, and these last few years that Silverfield's been the head coach there, they've had a lot of success as well. And this is a pretty cool spread offense. It's got a good mix of option, RPO, and a lot of trips and empty sets. If you like that combination of things, I think you'll like this playbook. So we're going to look at the formations and concepts and play types and personnel. And hopefully by the end of the video, you have a good idea of what this playbook is all about. Let's start off with the formation. So the bulk of the playbook is shotgun. I want to go to the other formation that we do have, and that is Maryland I. We got 6 plays. So if you need a really interesting, unique, situational formation, 3rd and short, 4th and short, or if you just really want to freak out a defense, throw a little Maryland I at them. Now, as you can see here, there's not much to the Maryland I. It's basic runs and play actions. That's kind of it. But I think that's a cool little addition to what is otherwise a true spread attack. So let's go over our shotgun formations. Now, this is a one-back offense all the way through, so kind of keep that in mind. But starting off, we got gun ace. That is a 12 personnel look. Then we got gun wing, another 12 personnel formation, and then we get into our first 11 personnel. And as you would expect with most spread playbooks, there's going to be a ton of 11 personnel. Starting off, doubles offset, a 2x2 look, 24 plays there. Then we got normal off close weak, and notice the word close. You're going to see that a lot in this playbook. Some condensed formations. That's the one really cool thing about this playbook. Although the formations are kind of all over the place in terms of it's not just normal stuff. So you got 15 plays there, and then we get into normal Y off weak. Then we get into flex Y off close. So again, a little more of a condensed formation. Then we got Y off trips. Then we got the weak version of that. Then we get the wing trips weak, trips tight end offset, and then spread halfback weak. So pay attention to the tight end number 82. This right here is still by default an 11 personnel formation, but we're getting to the really spread stuff. We're going to get into bunch open offset. That's still 11 personnel. And then we get into trips. This is our first 10 personnel formation, 21 plays there. Then we got trips halfback week at 18 plays, another 10 personnel formation. Trips offset, more 10 personnel. Then we got 5 wide receivers. You got 9 plays there. And then we got empty quads halfback. So look at all the very cool spread stuff you have. If you really want to spread out a defense, minus having veer and shoot formations, of course. The really cool playbook. You got, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 really good spread out formations, but then you got all those basic 11 personnel sets as well. So let's go back to ace, and let's just look for I always like to look for the pre-snap motion stuff. Those are cool little mini series as either drive starters or a full base of the offense. And there is some pre-snap motion in these formations. We'll go through these really quickly. Starting off right here, we got some Z motion. We got a mesh spot, flanker drive, and Texas double post. I'm going to call this flanker drive. I enjoy this type of concept. A little drive concept over the middle. And then you have a little comeback on the outside as well. Just really simple stuff there, but I really like that type of concept. So you got a Z motion out of those 3 plays, and then we got a little bit more. We got our first jet sweep series. We got a zone fake jet. We got a play action off of that, and we got the basic jet sweep as well. You keep on going. You go to normal off close week. I don't know if we have any here. What about normal Y off week? I don't think so. Flex Y off close? No. What about Y off trips? Here we go. We have some tight end motion. We got an inside zone split, a PA motion slide, and a read option off of that. You keep on going. We have our first, it's an exit motion more or less, but it's a halfback swing motion. You got a Y screen, you got motion stick, and you got vertical dig. I'm going to call stick just because I'm a big air raid guy. Really enjoy these types of plays. Let's see, just head to the stick. Very simple stuff right there, but if you want a little flair with some of your air raid concepts, you can definitely do that. And of course, this playbook will have a little bit. Pretty much every playbook in the game does. So you keep on going. We got that tight end motion, then we got the swing motion. What about Y off trips week? Do we have any here? We have more halfback motion. This is another swing. We got a Z spot to work with that, and we got a pump and go on top of that. So if you want to really get your halfback out and spread it out, definitely do that. So what did we talk about earlier? These formations on the back end, we had several true spread looks. Well, when you go over into some of these formations over here, and you do these halfback swings and whatnot, it makes it even more spread-ish, if that makes sense. So we keep going through here. Those are the swing we just looked at earlier. What about wing trips week? Do we have any here? I don't think we do. Trips tight end offset. This formation normally doesn't. Spread halfback week, and as we all know, the more spread out you go, the less motion you're going to see. Bunch open offset. These rarely have them. What about trips? I don't think this one does either. What about trips halfback week? Nope. What about trips offset? I don't think we have any. What about 5 wide receiver? I don't think so. But what about empty quads halfback, which is a pretty cool little formation if I do so say myself. So you look right here, it's a 4x1 look, and you can kind of see we got a curl, we got verticals on that, we got a screen on top of that, and a draw, and so on and so forth. Just really cool. But again, I really like the combination of formations with this. You know, you got a little 12 personnel, you got a little 11, plenty of 11 like most of these playbooks do, but then we got plenty of true spread stuff. Whether you want your tight end out there or not, or you want just 4 wide receivers or even 5, you can really do every bit of that in this playbook. So let's go over to the personnel. We've already hinted at some of this. Let's start off with 11 personnel. As we know, the bulk of this playbook is going to be 11 personnel. Your 23 is just your goal line. You do got a couple 12. Those are your 2 tight end looks. That's ace and then wing, 2x2 and a 3x1. Then you look at 32. You do have the Maryland eye. So again, I know you got goal line in this playbook, but I suggest you use heavy just because you have it. I think it's just pretty cool to use. 21 personnel, no, then we got 10 personnel. So we got plenty of this. You got trips halfback week, and you got trips offset. Then you got the empty quads halfback. So a ton of 4 wide receiver plays right there. Then you got a true 5 wide look, and with 9 plays there. So I like the variety. For it being just a 1-back offense, it's got plenty of variety in your personnel groupings. Plenty of 11, enough of 12, enough of 10, and even if I want to go 5 wide, I can definitely do that. So I think all that is really good. Let's go over to concepts, and let's look and see what this offense is really about. Let's start off with the runs. Now, you see here with these numbers, I always kind of like to pay attention where the bulk of this stuff is at, and as you can see, the deep pass is a little bit higher than like your medium and definitely your quick and such. But you notice your option plays, we got more of those than basic runs, so kind of keep that in mind. But let's start off with run. We got 7 counters. If you're going to have that much counter, you'll probably have that much power. We're going to check that out. We got a couple ISOs, and we got 5 power. So if you want to do any gap scheme work, you got enough here to work with. You got 8 draws. That's a lot of draws, normal or higher than usual. You got 16 inside zone. As we all know, this is your bread and butter run concept, as with most of these spread offenses. Just, very simple stuff here. But you got a little window dressing in some of these, if that's what you like, with that pre-snap motion. You got a couple outside zones. You got 1 sweep, that's out of goal line. You got a trap, that's out of gun ace. And then you actually have a basic reverse out of gun wing trips week. Now let's talk about the option. These are all your basic options and RPOs. Starting off, inverted veer. We have 4 of these. Now, I'm not good at this particular concept, so I'm not going to try to show it off or anything, but you have 4 of them. That's a really high number for that particular concept from all the playbooks that I've looked through. Load option, these are your speed options. You have 3. That's more than enough, I feel like. You got 14 read options, and they're all different variety. You got basic read, you got a lead read. You also got a buck sweep read option. So if you like read option, but you want to do a little flair with it, look, you got a cake read option as well, a little pulling action. So I like the variety of read options, again, if you really enjoy this concept. Those are those 3 speeds we looked at. We got 1 triple, and that is a wide receiver triple option. It's out of the slot. Then you got zone option, but notice what it says, zone speed option. So technically you have 4 speed options, and I'm more of a fan of speed options, just a little simpler for me to use. Now let's talk about the RPOs. We got quite a bit here, well over 20 or so RPOs. You got 8 RPO reads, and they're all different variety, from a bubble to glance routes to alerts, as you see with gun bunch open offset, and basic outside receiver screens, things of that nature. You even have a hitch/go or /fade. 2 different varieties right there. Do you like to have an outside screen with the read screen, or do you like to have a bubble? I like both pretty well. You go to RPO peak, you're going to see some of these what we just looked at, but we got more glance routes. We got another alert, and alert's probably my favorite. It's a little bit easier on the pre-snap read, and we got a zone stick RPO as well. Then you go to alert, we got some glance routes, we got more alerts, and we got some shocks and more bubbles, and just a nice little variety of RPOs. So let's back out and let's go look at some quick passing. So this is all your quick stuff. Starting off, Ohio, we only have 2 of these. We got a couple Omahas. We got 1 scat, if you like the little slot, little hitch look. Then we got 11 slants, but if you go through here, notice some of these are half slant, half stick. Slant and stick usually go together. And if you go over to stick, we got 9 of those. We got a motion stick. We looked at that one earlier. But notice slant, stick or slant. We got drag and stick. We got a stick wheel. So these 2 go together, but you have plenty of them to work with. Let's talk about the medium pass. Starting off with 4 choice. So there's not a lot of choice routes in this playbook. Choice routes are iffy in this game at times. It just kind of depends. But if you're not a big choice route fan, you don't have to worry about it because there's just not much of it in this playbook. But you have a ton of curl. So I suggest your basic passing concepts probably needs to start here. There's just an absolute ton of curl, and it's a wide variety. You got basic curl flats. You got hitches. You got more curl flat combos. You got curl Ohio. I like having 2 different types of concepts on either side. Flank or dig. Anywhere there is a curl or a hitch route, it is going to be dumped here. And 16 is a really high number for that concept. I'm going to go ahead and select one of these. I'm going to go curls out of trips right there. We'll go up against something normal. We'll do something like here. Let's see. Just hit this curl. Very simple stuff right there. You know, you got a zone beater and a man beater, and you can go to the flood side as well. Either way, plenty of curl, and I love curl in this game. You go to double move, 7 of these. So pretty much any type of play that's got a route that takes a couple of steps to get it going, you have it right here. And it's a little bit of everything. But notice you see the word pivot a lot. Pivot in seams. Pivot in seams. If you like the pivot route in general, I think you're going to like this playbook. So kind of pay attention to that as we go through here. Drive, we looked at that one earlier. We got 4 of those. We got 5 levels. That's drive on steroids, pretty much. You got mesh, 5 of those. So you got a little air raid built in. I'm a big mesh guy. You got Salem, 6 of these. You got 7 shallow crosses. So you got the drive. You got its sister with the shallow cross. Then you throw in the levels. Then you throw in the slot cross. You got 1 play there. And you just have a full-blown medium passing attack that's just incredible. Digs, drags in different directions. You can go nuts with all that. And then all that curl we just looked at earlier. Smash, 15 of these, and there's a different variety. These are your 2 basic ones. You got corner strike. It's a corner and a flat combo, or you can do more of the classic smash with a curl and a flag route. Then you got some other versions as well, like PAY cross. That is a hitch with a fade. That's more of a shot concept. You just keep on going. Again, just got a little bit of everything. And this is, again, another reason why I like this playbook. It has a ton of pass plays that has one completely different concept on either side. Look at level sail. Levels on one side, smash on the other. You look at spot, 4 of those, if you like the little Z, little hitch route. And you got 4 Texas routes. This is a really high number. The halfback running an angle route. Everybody calls it Texas these days. But you have 4 of those. So I really like the medium passing game. I like the variety of it. You go to deep pass, we got more of it than we do of medium. Starting off 3 divides. I like divide. It's classic. It's a go post combo of some sort for the most part. Then you got 10 floods. I'm a big flood fan. You got a man beater on one side more or less and a zone concept on the other. You got 17 comebacks. So what did we just talk about earlier? You go to medium pass, you go to curl, all of these curls and hitches. Well, you go over to deep pass, look at all of these comebacks, tons of them. It's just a deeper curl route. So curls, hitches, comebacks, that's the name of the game a lot with this playbook, along with that drag and dig type stuff. Dagger, 4 of those. We got 2 double digs. We got a 7 double post. This is not my favorite. Some people may like this particular concept. I think those routes are a little too close together for my liking, but they may be better off against zone than man, I guess. Either way, you got 12 verticals. That's pretty normal in most of these playbooks. You got 7 meals. You got, and meals, everybody knows that is old school, like fun and gun type stuff with a post and a dig underneath it. You go back over, we got 5 Portlands. That's just like the exact opposite of meals. You got a dig on one side and a post on the other. So those 2 go together. Then you got a bunch of shot plays. Pretty normal. Pretty much any type of play action that's going over the top. For the most part, it's not all play action, but you kind of get the gist here. It's a little bit all over the place, but it's a lot of fade routes, a lot of post, goes, things of that nature. And we got 6 switches. That's actually a little bit of a high number for what this playbook is trying to do. But if you like that post wheel combo, there you go. And you got 1 wide cross. So the big one here, I guess, is just comeback. It just really relates well with all that curl and hitch that we looked at earlier, on top of Mills and Portland. Those two go really well together. All right, let's go look at some play action. It says we got a total of 3, but we know better. But we got 1 boot, supposedly. We got a couple of slides. Let's go look at the screens. We got 12 bubbles. Now, notice these, a lot of those RPOs that we looked at earlier. And you go to flanker screen, kind of the same thing. We got 5 of these. And we got a wide receiver mid screen. However, you go to play type, you go to pass, you go to screen pass, and we got total of 20 screens. And you notice the variety here. Slip screens, a flanker screen. Then we got a Y screen. Those are fun to use. The tight end screens, halfback screen. More slip screens, a mid screen, a PA bubble. Then you throw all of those RPOs in there, and you got more screens than you know what to do with. Play action, there are technically 30 of them, but notice some of these same routes we looked at. Comeback, digs, drags, post. It's those same 5 or 6 routes that we've been looking at all day. And it's just, again, plenty of play action here if you need it. All right, so let's go look at the runs. Again, we're going to look at this in a little bit different order. We got 27 inside handoffs, which is what we expected. The inside zone was the bulk of this. We got a little bit of other things as well, if you especially want to do a little power like halfback base and such. We got 3 outside handoffs. We got 1 pitch. We got 7 counters. We got 8 draws. We got a fullback run, and we got 3 QB runs. We got a QB sneak out of Maryland I, 1 out of goal line, and you got a QB blast out of gun 5 wide. Option, these are your true options. These are your true runs. These are reads, your speeds, your leads, your loads, all that stuff. But again, we saw a little bit of variety from earlier. The cake read option. We got a triple, the inverted veer, QB slot option. And all the, again, the good variety of option stuff. And speaking of option, let's talk about the run pass option. We got 6 RPO reads. We got those 10 peaks, and we got 10 alerts. Now, those numbers are a little bit different than what we saw earlier, but you get the gist. We got 26 RPOs and 23 options. So you put those two together, that gives you around 50 or so option-like plays in this playbook. I think this is a really cool playbook. I like the combination of the concepts that are in here. If I wanted to run a basic spread offense, this is probably a good one to go to, especially if you want to run any type of option and especially some RPOs. But my favorite part of this playbook, besides I like the variety of personnel that we saw, is I like going over to the medium and deep passing. I just love seeing all these curls and comebacks and hitches. They just go so well together. The drive and the level and the mesh and shallow cross, they go so well together. You go to the deep pass. Those are those comebacks we saw earlier. They go well with the curls and the hitches. And then you got Mills and Portland that's just more of a vertical extension of those drags and digs that we saw earlier. Again, I just like the combination of it all, and I think you're really going to enjoy this playbook. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.